So we're here this afternoon with Jeff from GCT Property. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in to talk to us today about the Home Builders Grant. There's a $700 million Home Builder Grant announced recently by the federal government, and we've had lots of questions from prospective buyers on how they can utilise this money and whether they might be eligible to receive some of these grants. So Jeff is our expert in this field, so we've asked him in today to answer a few questions which might help you and give you the information that you're looking for. So Jeff, how much money is on offer?
Okay, so thanks for inviting me in, Jean. So the current offer is $25,000 for first home buyers.
Okay, it's a good chunk of money.
Absolutely.
And who is eligible for this grant?
Okay, so it's known as the Home Builder Grant,
Yes.
just been announced about 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a few qualifying criteria. So you need to be an Australian citizen.
Okay.
The property needs to be under the value of $750,000.
Okay. Yep.
It must be a new build.
Okay, brand new build, so it can't be used for buying an established property?
No, the idea of the grant is
Okay.
to stimulate the economy and the building game in general, so it's announced for new property.
Okay, perfect. Are there any other eligibility criteria that need to be met in order to receive these funds?
Absolutely. So if you're a single person, your income must be under $125,000,
Right.
or a couple of combined income under $200,000. So again, it's designed to assist those that most will benefit from it and need the help.
Okay.
The other issue is the grant ends on the 31st of December this 2020.
Right, okay, so there are some fairly strict timeframes around applying for this grant. So the applications for the grant are open now?
Yes, correct.
Yes.
So the government has announced the grant,
Mm-hmm.
the federal government. It's still awaiting some of the finer detail, but has been announced.
Okay, excellent. So you must have applied and signed a contract to build a new home by the 31st of December. Are there any other requirements in terms of the property being completed?
Yes, absolutely. So the contract must be signed before the 31st of December.
Okay.
Also, construction must have started within 3 months of signing that contract. So it's really important for any of those looking to take advantage of the grants that working with a builder that understands the time frames and also has the resources to start construction, because there's obviously can be a lot of demand
Yes.
for this type of grant. So it's essential that the land is registered, ready to build on, and you're using a builder that's got the resources to comply within the requirements.
Okay, excellent. That's some very good tips there. Is the grant available to people who have owned a home before, or is it only available to first home buyers?
Yeah, so that's a great thing. So there's a lot of misconception out there, but
Okay.
essentially you can use the grant even if it's your second or third home, as long as you're living in the property
Fantastic.
and you've owned property before, you will be eligible for the grant within that previously mentioned criteria.
Okay, excellent. Oh, that's fantastic. And if we just move on to first home buyers now, so first home buyers would obviously be eligible for the $25,000 Home Builder Grant, providing they met the previous criteria. Are there any other grants or incentives available to first home buyers?
Absolutely. So the $25,000 Home Builder Grant is a federal announcement, so available to anyone in Australia.
Okay.
The states have their own various grants. So currently in Queensland, we have a grant for first home buyers building new property,
Mm-hmm.
known as the First Homeowners Grant. Now the fantastic thing about that is that can be used in addition to the 25k grant.
Oh, wow.
So they do work a little bit differently.
Right.
The $25,000 Initiative Home Builder Grant will be granted after you start construction on the property,
Okay.
as opposed to the First Homeowners Grant that may be used towards the deposit, depending on the lender.
Okay, so potentially, first home buyers could be eligible for up to $40,000
Absolutely.
in government grants if they were to buy or build a brand new home. So that's amazing.
It is totally amazing.
Brilliant. So for any first home buyers out there who are looking to purchase or build their first home, do you have any tips? I mean, where should they start?
Okay, so the first point of call is really to find out what the banks will potentially lend you in terms
Okay.
of your borrowing capacity, deposits required. I'm finding from my current clients that I'm working with, we really need to start from that first step and have that conversation around where they are currently financially, and generally putting a bit of a plan in place to get finance ready before we go and find a property or approach the bank. So we have access to various mortgage brokers that specialise in first home buyers, and that's the first step we would recommend that we take.
Okay, brilliant. And with the first homeowners grant, the Queensland state government grant that you mentioned for $15,000, I've heard that that in some cases could be used as a deposit. Is that correct?
Yeah, it really depends. Every different lender has its own policy, and it depends on the type of contract. So it's really important that you speak to a specialist such as ourselves that can help guide the client. So that's really on a case-by-case basis. But generally, in a lot of cases, the clients may be eligible to use that $15,000 towards their deposit.
Okay, brilliant. So for any first home buyers out there who are thinking about taking those first steps, I mean, you may be renting and you may feel concerned that you don't quite have enough deposit saved. Jeff could help you greatly in this area if you wanted to have a chat with him. Jeff can look at your circumstances, and even if you're not in a position to be able to build or buy immediately, Jeff could help you get on the right track so that maybe in 6 or 12 months time you might be in a position where you can build or buy your first home. And potentially you might even be in a position where you can do that now and you don't realise it. So it would be a great thing to do, look into this grant and see whether you might be eligible there, because $25,000 extra in your pocket, that's quite a lot of money, and hopefully it'll get you on the path to home ownership sooner rather than later. So just remember, the grant ends on the 31st of December. So it's important to take action soon and make sure you don't miss out. So if you'd like to contact us, our details will be on the screen below. Jean from Jean Brown Properties and Jeff from GCT Property. Thank you for watching.